They say all great empires fall, but what if I told you Rome didn't fall because of barbarians? For centuries, we were told that invaders destroyed Rome. But the truth? Rome collapsed from the inside. It was already dying long before the first barbarian set foot in the city. And the scariest part? The same warning signs exist today. Rome wasn't just an empire. It was the most powerful civilization the world had ever seen. 1.9 million square miles of land. Over 60 million people under its rule. The largest, most disciplined army in history. For nearly 1,000 years, Rome seemed invincible. But it wasn't. It was rotting from within. And when the moment came, it collapsed faster than anyone expected. What went wrong? And could the same thing happen today? The cracks started appearing centuries before Rome's fall. The first warning sign? Greedy politicians and a broken economy. Rome thrived by conquering land. More land meant more resources, more slaves, more money. But by the 3rd century, Rome stopped expanding. No new conquests, no new wealth. The government started printing more money, leading to hyperinflation. The rich refused to pay taxes, shifting the burden entirely onto the poor. Corrupt officials drained the treasury for their own gain. Meanwhile, the emperors became weak, paranoid, and useless. In just 50 years, Rome went through 26 different emperors. Most were assassinated. Some ruled for only a few months before being overthrown. The empire was eating itself alive. But Rome's biggest mistake? Letting the wrong people in. In 376 AD, desperate refugees arrived at Rome's borders. They were Goths, fleeing the terrifying Huns. They begged for shelter, and Rome let them in. But instead of welcoming them, Rome abused them, starved them, overtaxed them, forced them to sell their own children for food. The result? Rebellion. In 378 AD, at the Battle of Adrianople, the mighty Roman army was crushed. The emperor was killed. Rome never recovered from this defeat. And this was just the beginning. One of the Goth leaders, Alaric, once fought for Rome. But when Rome refused to give his people land, he took it by force. In 410 AD, Rome was sacked. For the first time in 800 years, the Eternal City was looted and burned. People thought it was the end of the world. The empire still existed, but the world had seen the truth. Rome could be defeated. And from that moment on, everyone wanted a peace. Over the next few decades, Rome lost everything. Britain rebelled and was abandoned. Gaul and Spain were taken by Germanic tribes. The Vandals seized North Africa, Rome's main food supply. By 476 AD, Rome was a shell of its former self. Then came the final humiliation. A barbarian general, Odoacer, marched into Italy. He removed the last emperor, a teenager named Romulus Augustulus. He sent Rome's imperial crown to the Eastern Roman emperor in Constantinople. Rome was dead. The empire that had once ruled the known world was now just history. So, what really happened? It wasn't just the barbarians. Rome destroyed itself. Corrupt, incompetent leaders. Rome was ruled by weak emperors, some of whom were literal children. A collapsing economy. Rome printed money, causing inflation, while the rich refused to pay taxes. A failing military. The once great Roman army became mercenaries for hire with no loyalty to Rome. Division and infighting. Rome was constantly at war with itself. Civil wars, assassinations, power struggles, overexpansion. Rome became too big to govern, and when communication took weeks or months, the empire fell apart. Does any of this sound familiar? History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And if you look at today's world, economic collapse, Rome debased its currency. Today, inflation is skyrocketing. Political corruption, Rome's senators cared more about themselves than the people. Overexpansion, Rome tried to rule too much with too little. Military decline, Rome relied on outsiders to fight its wars. The fall of Rome isn't just history, it's a warning. No empire lasts forever. Not Rome, not the British Empire, not even the superpowers of today. The real question is, will we learn from history, or will we ignore the warning signs and fall just like Rome? What do you think? Is history repeating itself? Which modern empire is next? Drop a comment below. Let's talk.